In the heart of Edirne, the Ottoman capital, the young sultan maimed II, barely a man in years, harbored ambitions that dwarfed his age. Constantinople, the jewel of the Byzantine Empire, shimmered in his mind's eye, not as a distant city, but as a prize waiting to be claimed. Maime's early life had been meticulously crafted for leadership. Tutors instilled in him a love of knowledge, from Islamic theology to classical philosophy, and he possessed a keen understanding of mathematics and military strategy. His father, Sultan Murad II, had briefly abdicated, giving the young maimed a taste of power, a taste that ignited an unquenchable fire. The Ottoman Empire, forged in the crucible of war and expansion, stood as a formidable force in the 15th century. Its military might was legendary, a well-disciplined army composed of skilled warriors, from the elite janissaries to the Sipahi cavalry. Central to the Ottoman success was their mastery of siege warfare. Ottoman engineers were renowned for their innovative siege weaponry, capable of breaching the strongest fortifications. The construction of enormous cannons became a symbol of Ottoman power, instruments of destruction that instilled fear in their enemies. Maime's vision extended beyond mere military conquest. He saw himself as a divinely ordained ruler, destined to bring Constantinople, the heart of Christendom, under the banner of Islam. The capture of the city would solidify his power, legitimize his rule, and usher in a new golden age for the Ottoman Empire. Within the opulent halls of the Ottoman court, intrigue and ambition swirled like the fragrant incense that filled the air. Huma Hatun, the Sultan's consort, was a woman of intelligence and influence, a trusted advisor whose counsel Maimed valued. She understood the weight of his ambitions and the dangers that lay ahead. Grand Vizier Sandarli Hallo Pasha, a seasoned statesman, served as Maimed's chief advisor. While loyal to the Ottoman cause, he harbored reservations about the Sultan's obsession with Constantinople, fearing the immense cost and the potential for failure. Maimed surrounded himself with scholars and strategists, men of intellect who could provide him with the knowledge and expertise necessary to achieve his goals. They meticulously researched the history of Constantinople, its defenses, and its weaknesses, searching for any advantage that could be exploited. The strategic planning for the conquest of Constantinople was meticulous and comprehensive. Maimed personally oversaw every detail, from the construction of siege engines to the deployment of troops. He recognized that success depended not only on brute force but also on cunning and innovation. Control of the Bosphorus Strait was crucial to the Ottoman strategy. By blockading the waterway, Maimed aimed to isolate Constantinople from the sea, cutting off its supply lines and preventing reinforcements from reaching the city. As the preparations for the siege reached their final stages, Maimed sought solace and guidance in prayer. He believed that God was on his side, that the conquest of Constantinople was a righteous cause that would bring glory to Islam. With his plans in place and his forces assembled, Maimed sent a final message to Emperor Constantine XI, offering him terms of surrender. The fate of Constantinople hung in the balance, the clash between crescent and cross about to reach its climax. In Edirne, the Ottoman capital, the air crackled with anticipation. Maimed II, driven by his ambition, initiated the preparations for the siege of Constantinople. His focus was unwavering, his energy inexhaustible. The construction of siege weaponry began in earnest. Skilled engineers and countless laborers worked tirelessly, forging massive cannons capable of breaching Constantinople's formidable walls. The basilic, a super-cannon, was the centerpiece of this arsenal, its creation shrouded in secrecy and anticipation. Maimed personally oversaw the cannon's construction, ensuring that every detail met his exacting standards. The basilic was a testament to Ottoman ingenuity and a symbol of their relentless pursuit of conquest. Strategically positioned on the European side of the Bosporus, the Rumeli Hisari fortress began to rise. This formidable structure was designed to control maritime traffic, effectively cutting off Constantinople from potential aid arriving via the Black Sea. The construction was swift and decisive, a clear message to the Byzantine Empire and its allies. Maimed understood the importance of isolating Constantinople. Rumeli Hisari, coupled with the existing Anadolu Hisari on the Asian side, would create an iron grip on the Bosporus, choking off the city's lifeline. While preparing for war, Maimed also engaged in diplomatic maneuvering. He sought to secure neutrality or even support from key European powers, particularly Venice and Genoa, whose trading interests were intertwined with Constantinople. These negotiations were delicate, requiring both firmness and cunning. Huma Hatun, Maimed's valued advisor, played a role in these diplomatic efforts, using her influence and intellect to sway opinions and build alliances. In Constantinople, Emperor Constantine XI received increasingly alarming reports of Ottoman preparations. The construction of Rumeli Hisari, in particular, sent shockwaves through the city. The noose was tightening. Constantine desperately sought aid from the West, appealing to the Pope and other European rulers for military assistance. However, deep divisions and a lack of unity among the Christian powers hampered any significant response. Maimed secured the allegiance of key figures in the Balkans, including Radu Selfrumos of Wallachia. Such alliances were critical for securing the Ottoman Empire's rear and ensuring a steady supply of resources. Within Constantinople, the impact of the Ottoman preparations was palpable. Trade slowed, and anxiety gripped the populace as the city braced itself for the inevitable siege. A sense of foreboding settled over the once thriving metropolis. As winter turned to spring, Maimed II mustered his forces outside Edirne. The army, a vast and formidable host, stood ready to march on Constantinople. The stage was set for the final, decisive act in the long drama between Crescent and Cross. The year is 1453. After months of preparation, the vanguard of the Ottoman army has reached Constantinople. Sultan Maimed II, barely a man but with the heart of a conqueror, gazes upon the formidable city, a prize he intends to claim. Within the ancient walls, Emperor Constantine XI watches the inexorable approach of the Ottoman horde. He knows the odds are stacked against him, but the spirit of Byzantium, though flickering, is not yet extinguished. The siege lines take shape with ruthless efficiency. Ottoman engineers begin the meticulous work of emplacing the siege artillery, the monstrous cannons that Maimed hopes will shatter Constantinople's defenses. On the walls, Byzantine soldiers, a mix of Greeks, Italians, and other mercenaries, stand ready. They are a thin line against a surging tide, but they are determined to make the Ottomans pay dearly for every inch. The first thunderous boom echoes across the landscape. The siege has begun. A section of the wall crumbles under the force of the massive Ottoman cannon, signaling the start of relentless bombardment. Despite the devastation, Constantine XI rallies his troops. He moves among them, offering words of encouragement and reminding them of the glory of Byzantium, urging them to stand firm. Ottoman janissaries launch an initial probing attack against the Blasharni walls, seeking a weak point in the defenses. The Byzantine defenders meet them with a hail of arrows and spears, repelling the first assault. Within the city, the civilian population rallies to the defense. Women and children join the men in repairing the damaged walls, demonstrating the unified resolve of Constantinople's inhabitants. Far from the battlefield, Hatun, the Sultan's consort, tends to the wounded in the Ottoman camp, her presence a solace amidst the brutality of war. Her compassion extends even to the lowliest soldier. Giovanni Giustiniani, the Genoese captain leading the foreign contingent, organizes a daring sally from the city gates. His skilled mercenaries inflict heavy casualties on the Ottomans, disrupting their siege works. Within the Hagia Sophia, the faithful gather to pray for deliverance. The ancient cathedral, a symbol of Byzantine power and faith, becomes a sanctuary for the besieged population. Back in his command tent, Mehmed studies the city's defenses, searching for any weakness, any advantage. He knows that the siege will be long and arduous, but his resolve remains unshaken. Constantinople will fall. The siege of Constantinople began in earnest. Sultan Mehmed II's cannons, each a behemoth of bronze and iron, unleashed a relentless barrage upon the ancient Theodosian walls. The earth trembled with each impact, the air filled with the roar of explosions and the screams of the besieged. Emperor Constantine XI, his face etched with worry, surveyed the damage. Sections of the wall crumbled under the relentless assault, yet the defenders, a mix of Byzantine soldiers, Genoese mercenaries, and ordinary citizens, fought with unwavering courage to repair the breaches. Under the cover of cannon fire, Ottoman soldiers launched waves of assaults against the weakened sections of the walls. They charged with ladders and grappling hooks, seeking to overwhelm the Byzantine defenses. The clash of steel on steel echoed across the battlefield. The Byzantine defenders met the onslaught with fierce resistance. They rained down arrows, poured boiling oil, and hurled stones upon the attackers, repelling wave after wave of Ottoman assaults. The fighting was desperate and brutal, a struggle for survival within the shadow of the ancient walls. Beneath the surface, Ottoman sappers worked tirelessly, digging tunnels beneath the Theodosian walls in an attempt to collapse them. The Byzantines, however, were vigilant, listening for the sounds of digging and launching countermining operations. A network of tunnels became a battleground. Byzantine engineers countered the Ottoman efforts by digging their own tunnels to intercept and collapse the enemies, burying Ottoman sappers alive and thwarting their efforts. In the Golden Horn, Ottoman ships engaged in fierce naval battles with the Byzantine and Genoese fleets. The sea was a churning mass of ships, the air thick with the sounds of clashing oars, the whoosh of arrows, and the splintering of wood. The Byzantines deployed their secret weapon, Greek fire. Streams of the burning liquid spewed forth from their ships, engulfing Ottoman vessels in flames. The terrifying spectacle spread panic and chaos among the Ottoman fleet. Emperor Constantine XI, standing upon the battered walls, rallied his troops. "Defend the city," he cried, his voice ringing out amidst the chaos. "Defend your homes, your families, your faith." Even amidst the siege, life continued. Hatun, wife to Mehmed, oversaw the care of wounded soldiers, her presence a source of comfort and hope within the grim reality of war. Her compassion was a stark contrast to the violence raging outside. Within the city's walls, ordinary citizens huddled in fear, praying for deliverance. Food and water grew scarce, and the constant bombardment eroded their hope. Yet they clung to their faith and their determination to survive. Despite the valiant defense, maimed II remained resolute. He studied the city's defenses, searching for a weakness, a crack in the armor of the ancient capital. He knew the siege would be long and costly, but he was determined to claim Constantinople as his own. The siege of Constantinople raged on, but the Golden Horn remained an unbreachable sanctuary for the Byzantine fleet, guarded by a massive chain stretching across its entrance. Maimed knew that controlling the Golden Horn was key to conquering the city. The Ottoman navy tested the strength of the chain, probing for weaknesses, launching small-scale attacks. Each attempt was met with fierce resistance from the Byzantine defenders, who rained down arrows and fire from the walls and ships. Constantine XI watched from the walls, his heart heavy with the knowledge that his city's fate hung in the balance. The chain, Constantinople's last major defense, must hold. Frustrated by the stalemate, Maimed sought an alternative strategy. He pondered the terrain, searching for a way to outflank the seemingly impenetrable barrier. Maimed conceived an audacious plan, to transport his ships overland, bypassing the chain and entering the Golden Horn directly. A massive slipway was constructed, a testament to Ottoman engineering prowess and sheer determination. Under the cloak of darkness, the seemingly impossible began. Ottoman ships, carefully cradled on greased logs, were hauled overland, a silent procession defying logic and expectations. News of the overland transport reached Constantine in the dead of night, a devastating blow that shattered the city's morale. The Byzantine defenders, caught completely off guard, scrambled to reposition their forces, desperately trying to defend the northern walls, now vulnerable to attack from the Golden Horn. The Ottoman fleet now sailed freely within the Golden Horn, attacking the Byzantine ships from within, unleashing a devastating assault that shattered the illusion of security. Within the besieged city, despair deepened. Constantine XI sought solace in the Hagia Sophia, praying for a miracle, knowing that the end was near. Weeks into the siege, Constantinople groaned under the relentless Ottoman assault. The once proud walls, though still standing, bore the scars of countless cannonballs. Within the city, a palpable sense of weariness settled upon the defenders. Supplies dwindled and morale sagged. The constant bombardment, the lack of sleep, and the growing certainty of their doom weighed heavily on the Byzantine soldiers. Sultan Maimed, relentless in his pursuit, pressed his advantage. His cannons continued their thunderous assault, targeting the weakest points in the Byzantine defenses. Emperor Constantine, aware of the city's dire situation, attempted to rally his people. He walked among them, offering words of comfort and urging them to remain steadfast in their defense. The foreign mercenaries, upon whom Constantinople heavily relied, began to quarrel, their loyalty wavering as the situation deteriorated. Maimed, constantly fed information by his spies within the city, exploited every weakness and capitalized on every mistake. The sappers struck. A section of the Theodosian walls, weakened by their tunnels, collapsed in a cloud of dust and debris, creating a breach in the defenses. Constantine, witnessing the crumbling defenses, knew that the end was near, but he refused to yield. Even as the city teetered on the brink, life continued beyond the battlefield. Humayhatan watched from afar, a silent observer to the unfolding drama, aware that the world was about to change forever. The pre-dawn air hung heavy with anticipation. For 53 days, Constantinople had endured the Ottoman siege. Now, Sultan Mehmed II prepared to unleash the final assault. Inside the city walls, Emperor Constantine XI rallied his remaining forces. Hope was dwindling, but the emperor was determined to defend the city until the very end. "For the glory of Byzantium," he cried. As the sun crested the horizon, the Ottoman army surged forward. Wave after wave of soldiers crashed against the weakened walls, their cries echoing through the ravaged city. Seeing a critical breach in the defenses, Constantine XI himself led a desperate counterattack. He fought with the valor of a lion, inspiring his men to hold the line. Despite the emperor's bravery, the sheer number of Ottoman soldiers began to overwhelm the exhausted defenders. The Ottoman forces breached the walls, and the battle moved into the streets of Constantinople. Amidst the chaos, Emperor Constantine XI was cut down. His body, stripped of its imperial insignia, was lost amidst the carnage. The last Roman emperor was dead. With the emperor's death, resistance crumbled. Ottoman soldiers stormed the city, raising their flag above the highest tower. Constantinople had fallen. Sultan Mehmed II, now known as Mehmed the Conqueror, rode triumphantly into Constantinople. His dream had become reality. Hagia Sophia awaits him. Humayun, watching from a distance, felt a mixture of awe and apprehension as she witnessed the Sultan's triumph. The world had irrevocably changed. The Hagia Sophia, once the grandest cathedral in Christendom, was transformed into a mosque, a potent symbol of the new order. The medieval world had been reshaped. Emperor Constantine XI, true to his oath, had died fighting. His body, recovered amongst the slain, was a testament to the courage and resilience of a fallen empire. Though his city was lost, his name would live on, a symbol of defiance against overwhelming odds. Life in Constantinople began to adapt to Ottoman rule. The city, renamed Istanbul, was being rebuilt and repopulated. Humayun, Mehmed's consort, moved among the people, observing the integration of cultures, the blending of East and West. To the north, in Wallachia, Radu Frumos walked a precarious path. Appointed voivode by Mehmed, he was tasked with maintaining order and loyalty to the Sultan while balancing the needs and traditions of his own people. The shadow of Ottoman power loomed large over the region. Mehmed's ambition extended far beyond Constantinople. The Balkans beckoned, a patchwork of kingdoms and principalities ripe for conquest. He pored over maps, planning his next campaigns, his eyes set on expanding the Ottoman domain into the heart of Europe. The fall of Constantinople disrupted established trade routes. Italian city-states, which had long profited from their control of commerce between East and West, found themselves increasingly challenged by the Ottomans. New routes were sought, and the age of exploration was about to begin. The influx of Byzantine scholars and texts into Europe, driven by the Ottoman conquest, fueled the Renaissance. Ancient knowledge, long dormant, was rediscovered, sparking a new era of intellectual and artistic flourishing. Radu Frumos, ever mindful of his precarious position, sought to strengthen Wallachia's defenses. He rebuilt fortresses and reorganized the army, preparing for any eventuality, aware that his kingdom was a buffer between the Ottoman Empire and the rest of Europe. European powers, now forced to reckon with the ascendant Ottoman Empire, sent ambassadors to Mehmed's court. They sought treaties and trade agreements, attempting to navigate the new political landscape with caution and trepidation. The Ottoman Empire's control over the eastern Mediterranean reshaped the region's economic and strategic significance. Cartographers redrew maps, reflecting the new realities of power and trade. While Mehmed focused on conquest and governance, Humayun worked to foster stability and cultural growth within the empire. She supported artists and scholars, promoting a vibrant intellectual atmosphere. The Ottoman Empire, born from ambition and conquest, would endure for centuries, leaving an indelible mark on the world. Istanbul, once Constantinople, stood as a testament to its power, a bridge between East and West, a city where the echoes of the past resonated in the present.